Hi, everyone. My name is Annissa George. Thanks for tuning in. This discussion is part of my Listen and Learn series, where I join residents and others from different backgrounds to bring awareness about their work. I believe that the best way to find solutions to our most pressing issues is by making sure that everyone has a seat at the table. Today's conversation will focus on ending youth homelessness. As many of you know, these last almost 6 years now on the Boston City Council, a great deal of my time has been focused on ending homelessness here in the city of Boston and certainly beyond, as we know that Boston has become a place where many find resources and access to services, whether you are an older Bostonian experiencing homelessness, a family, or in today's case, in today's topic at hand is youth experiencing homelessness in particular. I'm so excited to be joined by Connor, who is the co-founder of Breaktime, a Boston nonprofit that works to end youth homelessness through supportive and purposeful employment. We also have associates of Connor who work over at Breaktime. Janet's with us, Francois is with us, as well as Olivia, who do and have various roles over at Breaktime. So I'm going to actually, instead of speaking more about it, I'm going to let Connor kick us off and get started and tell us about Breaktime and introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you so much, Counselor. My name is Connor Schoen. I'm a resident of Fields Corner in Dorchester, and I'm the co-founder and executive director of Breaktime. As the Counselor mentioned, Breaktime is a Boston-based nonprofit, and our mission is to empower young adults experiencing homelessness to build sustainability in their lives while also building resilience in their communities. I'm joining you here today from Breaktime's office. 2 years ago, this was actually supposed to be a cafe space, creating entrepreneurial job opportunities for young people experiencing homelessness. But unfortunately, the pandemic forced us to shut down construction and pivot. What we do now is that we have a 2-week training program hosted here that focuses on professional development and personal empowerment. And our associates, the young people we work with, after going through this program, are staffed at various nonprofit employment sites across the city. I apologize, there's a bit of music from the street in the background, but the sort of opportunities that our associates get to engage in include working at food pantries, soup kitchens, doing health literacy work at the American Heart Association. For 3 months, these living wage job opportunities provide an opportunity for our young adults to build transferable job skills while doing transformative work that is empowering and really inspires them to see their own power and potential as a young person. We pay a Boston living wage of $16 an hour, and we invest $50 a week into each associate's individual development account. So we're matching the savings that they're putting into that account such that every single young person that comes through Breaktime is leaving Breaktime with at least $1,000 in savings to put towards stable, permanent housing. We believe that purposeful employment, supportive employment, has to go alongside financial empowerment. And financial empowerment isn't just about teaching young folks about the know-how they need to navigate the financial world. It's about providing the resources and investment in their long-term success. So in addition to our match savings program, we also provide 1 year of credit counseling services that help our young people to get a credit score of at least 660. And each of our young people are leaving our program with the foundation they need to go and succeed in the Boston workforce and to continue to build the sustainability they need in their life to be the amazing citizens that they are. So I don't want to take up any more time because we're joined by 2 of our amazing associates today, Janet and Francois, as well as Olivia on our policy team. So first, I'd love to pass it over to Janet to introduce herself. Janet?
Hi, my name is Janet Smith, pronoun she, her. I am an alumni of Breaktime. My experience with Breaktime has been amazing. It's given me what I needed, giving me the things that I needed to start what I needed to get on track to what I needed. Adding to what Connor said, it turned my 100 into 1,000 and giving me that money to get things done and just basically just get everything that I need and put myself in the place that I need to be, that I was 9 months ago. And I'm really thankful for all the things that they have done for me and everything like that. So really, really, really grateful and stuff for that.
It sounds like you're at work, Janet.
No, it's not my office.
Oh, no, I love it. Thank you very much for introducing yourself to us today. Welcome, and I'd love to hear from Francois.
Hello. Sorry for the background, the shaking of the camera. Excuse that. My name is Francois St. Preux. I'm currently a candidate of Breaktime, and I really like it. It's a great experience. It's kind of changing my life right now because I'm doing a whole lot of type of stuff, and the things that I need are exactly what they're offering. I'm trying to work on my credit. I'm trying to work on my money management. I'm trying to work on a career, try to find something that could keep me stable. And, they're providing like the skills, the workshops that I need to manage that. And, it's just a good experience so far. My experience is very positive so far. I'm planning on trying to find a career, do this, and it makes you realize stuff. I realize I like helping people and stuff. I like career, the work field I'm in, and it's just there's a lot of pros to it. There's a lot of pros.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Francois, for sharing. And then Connor, I think you're going to ask Olivia to talk a little bit about her work in policy and advocacy.
Yeah, Olivia, take it away.
Thanks so much, Connor. Yeah, so on the policy and advocacy side of Breaktime, what we do is we work to enact laws and legislation that really fight homelessness. Like, for example, recently we worked to get Amendment 744 across the finish line in the Massachusetts Senate. And prior to this amendment, Massachusetts had no state funding committed specifically to supporting year-round employment opportunities for young adults experiencing homelessness. So to take, for example, amendments like that and really working to build laws and to build a structure where this is systemically solved is what we do over at Policy and Advocacy.
Mm-hmm. And building off what Olivia said, both on the city level and the state level here in Massachusetts, one of the major gaps is that while there's a lot of great employment programming for youth, 18 and under, specifically youth in Boston Public Schools, there's a gap when it comes to young adults, especially young adults ages 18 to 24, who are out of school and out of work. The young adults experiencing homelessness and housing insecurity in our city, many of them fit into that group. And that's such a pivotal point in the life of a young person to invest in their long-term success, their long-term career, their long-term sustainability, their long-term financial stability. So we really believe in the power and potential of an early intervention strategy that invests in young people at this pivotal turning moment in their life. And we've been really excited to work with the counselor's office and with the city in general to continue to expand access to opportunity for this critical age group and for these amazing young people, two of whom are here today.
No, and it's so important that we're pointing out sort of the differences in resources and opportunities for 18 and under versus 18 to 24. I'd love to hear from, Janet mentioned in her remarks that Breaktime has given her what she needed. And I'm curious, Janet, if you would share a little bit about what are some of those needs that have been met. And then also, if you don't mind sharing with us where need hasn't been met. So, I always look at the work as sort of what's the work that's left undone? Where do we fill in those gaps? So I'd love to hear where the opportunities have been fulfilled or are being fulfilled, underway, and then what still needs to happen, what's missing.
So the needs that fulfilled me was finding a job. They gave me a job. Getting money, getting a job equals getting a check. And then also just being there, surrounded by people who just gave you support all the time, there for you. When I first became displaced, I heard about Breaktime, and for the first month, I didn't really engage in it. I rode the trains for a whole month because, they say programs, they work here, they don't work. You know, you get into a program and they don't work, and then things don't add up and stuff like that. So I was very hesitated, but then people here at Bridge, they say, Janet, give it a try, give yourself a try. So I did. I took the opportunity, and it's the best thing that happened to me so far today. I was only displaced for 6 months. 6 months. All it took, it was 6 months. And I got my apartment. I got a phone. I got everything that I needed for me to move on and to be stable and to to grow and to be successful on my own now. So it's everything, it works. It works. The from A to Z, it works. So it just takes the opportunity and the trust and the belief that it works, that you can get through, and that it does turn out that everything that you need now, you will have in the next 6 months, 2 months, 3 months, depending on if you really believe in yourself and you really just take the opportunity to do it. So I always tell like the next people, every time I hear somebody else is going into break time, I congratulate them. I say it's gonna work. You're gonna do amazing. You're gonna be where you want to be in the next 6 months, because I'm at the place that I was when I heard about Breaktime. I'm at Bridge Over Trouble. This is where I first heard about it, and I still come back to these places. And then when I hear people, hey, I'm working through Breaktime, and I can I support them, and I tell them it's an amazing process. It's an amazing thing. And so if it fills the needs of all that what you need, it might not, some people, they don't have their birth certificate. It's not for like that, but it's for you to have a job, for you to start getting paid, for you to start putting in the work, and for you to start finding yourself and knowing that that you're not you're not low, you're not somebody in the corner. You're somebody that's right there, and they can see you, and they want to help you, and they believe in you. So
well, I love what you said about you have to believe in yourself, but I think it's also important to have a team, an organization, and then people who work for that organization that also believe in you. It seems like those two things are really important components to finding that success. That's great. Francois, would you share a little bit about, I think you're at a different point in the program and your engagement with Breaktime. Can you talk about, what are the things that you're getting today that are helpful and supportive, and what's down the road? What are the things that you still need?
So a lot of things down the road that you could like expect to see in break time is that they really want you to figure out your career path. Like if you want to work immediately right after break time, or if you're trying to find a career, or if you're even trying to higher education, it gives multiple opportunities that you could achieve. And break time, they really work with you. It's kind of like they could work around like any type of necessities that you may need. If you need to work on your papers, you could work on your paperwork. If you're really focused on money management, you can go that route. If you're just trying to hop into work and like fast, you could do that too. Anything that really works with you, they kind of just help out. Right now, I'm looking at I'm basically midway through the program, and I'm looking for a career. So once I leave, that I'll be all set. I'm looking for work, and I'm actually trying to go the career route and try to find a career in this type of field. And so that's what I'm aiming for.
No, it's fantastic, and I wish you luck in that career search. And both Janet and Francois have talked about the importance of the financial literacy, the work around credit, sort of that credit recovery program, or I should say credit strengthening and improvement, and then the work that's done around that. What important skills that is to learn. Connor, can you speak a little bit to that work in particular, especially around financial literacy?
Yeah, so at Breaktime, we define our success with a framework that we call the 3 E's: engage, equip, and empower. We want to ensure that all associates are engaged in meaningful, purposeful work, and that after break time, they're engaged full-time in a combination of employment, education, and or training. We also look at the engagement that our young people have in the community. So many of our alumni and our current associates are incredibly engaged in the community, doing amazing work as advocates to their peers like Janet and Francois. So that's the first bucket. In terms of equip, we want to make sure that we're equipping young people with the skills and the resources they need to succeed. So we look at all the skills you need to get a job and then also to maintain a job. We coach for those skills throughout the entirety of Breaktime's program while folks are working, honing in on the transferable skills that they need to be successful in any job. In terms of the financial piece, on the resource side, as I mentioned, we do pay a living wage of $16 an hour, but we're also investing $50 a week in an individual development account for each of our associates. So what that looks like is you can withhold $50 a week from your paycheck to put in this individual development account. We're matching it 1-to-1 every week. So you can have up to $1,300 in savings by the end of this program to put towards your long-term financial stability. So instead of just teaching financial literacy, teaching how to track income and expenses and all of that good stuff, we're actually equipping young people with the financial resources they need to succeed in the long term. On the credit side, we work with a wonderful nonprofit called Working Credit that provides one-on-one credit coaching and financial counseling, because what we've found is that every single young person's financial needs differs. And their background differs because we all come from a different background. We all come from different educational spaces. The young people I know through Breaktime, the incredible, inspiring associates like Janet and Francois, are probably the smartest and savviest people I know when it comes to income and expense tracking, because cash flow and ensuring that there's money in the bank account is essential to them. Whereas folks that I knew when I was in college, might have had their parental support to help them through a time where they didn't have a lot of money in their bank account. So our young people are experts at financial literacy. They're living it day to day. But we really need to be investing the resources to ensure that that young people are going to succeed in the long term. That's the missing link. There's the old adage that, teach a man to fish and he'll fish for days. Well, we really need to be giving our young people the actual fishing pole, because young people know how to navigate the financial world. They're tracking their income and expenses every single day because they have to. But we need to invest resources so that they can build assets, strengthen their credit, get over 660, even over 700, and also be gaining that income so that they're really building an employment record, they're building an employment history, and they're building up that income they need to sustain themselves in the long term. That final E, empower, we look at 5 key measures of self-efficacy and confidence, and we really want to see each of our associates flourish in terms of their own belief in their power and potential. All of our young people are doing incredible work at community-based organizations, working day in and day out to support their neighbors in need. And we hope that these amazing opportunities help to inspire their confidence and the impact they can have on the community. So that's sort of how we see our impact. And this has been led and guided always by the amazing leadership and inspiration of our associates and alumni like Janet and Francois.
I love it. And I love this idea. I'm taking notes here. This being the work towards being engaged, being equipped, and being empowered. And that skill set, developing those skills and doing that work, certainly will impact any individual's life forever. Those are really critical skill sets. Olivia, around the advocacy piece, can you talk a little bit about how this last year and a half has really impacted? We think about COVID, we think about some of the disconnection around doing your work and being able to connect with either decision makers or outside partner organizations, or even with your associates, how this last year has maybe impacted your work.
Yeah, definitely. I think that COVID has provided, a very unique struggle for a lot of areas, and especially around, things kind of got held up at points and things like that in law. So I think that the biggest thing for us has been continuing to make connections and work forward, on that state level, on that local level, and finally like moving to the national level, really working to target what policies and what specific bills are going to be best to address, and then how do we move that forward and making sure that those are inclusive. So just like Connor was speaking on earlier, the biggest gap that there is this gap of the young adults between 18 and 24 that are almost not the most considered population. So making sure that when we're addressing bills and when we're addressing laws, that those things are brought in and those things are addressed. And the biggest thing is closing that gap. So then we can work to further close the gap that we see in poverty. And that's something that, is something that we're really striving for and are willing to work on all levels of government to address. So I think that's the biggest thing for us.
No, thank you for sharing that, because we know how impactful this last year and a half and the needs that have the way that we've had to change business because of the pandemic, how just important these connections are to one another, to the work, and to make sure that we're constantly pushing forward. Connor, you talked a little bit when you first introduced yourself, and maybe I don't know this about Breaktime. What was the coffee shop piece?
Yeah, so I always joke that like the half of my shirt has been cut off because we used to be Breaktime Cafe. When my co-founder Tony Shu and I started Breaktime back in 2018, we were working in an incredible organization called Y Harvard Square, supporting young adults.
Did we all lose Connor or just me?
Oh, can you hear me?
Janet or Francois, do you know what the cafe story was?
No, I
No.
don't remember.
Can y'all hear me now?
I can hear you,
Connor. I can't hear Connor, but maybe you can.
I can hear Connor. Are you having trouble with him?
Oh no, I can hear him. I can hear everybody.
Oh, I can't.
I'm happy to
now.
take over a bit of the cafe story if we can.
Sure, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so basically Breaktime, the idea when Connor and Tony got together was that they were going to start a cafe, and this cafe would basically employ young adults that were experiencing homelessness, and the idea is that would be a career path for them. Mm-hmm. And then, there was a global pandemic, which did put a little bit of a wrench in things, and construction was halted on that operation, and they did an absolutely incredible job of pivoting and looking at how we could approach this whole problem as a whole in a different sense. So Breaktime Cafe became just Breaktime, and the idea was to partner with other nonprofit organizations and to place young adults into job placements, specifically job placements that are structured around the community, and provide them with long-term career options. And I know that sometimes Connor jokes that it was an incredible pivot to happen, because it really has created the future for Breaktime as we know it, and has also established, a big role in now creating changes for the future. So that really picked up on our policy side of things and really has all come together to create what Breaktime is now today.
Sorry, Connor, I stopped being able to hear you. Everyone else could still hear you, but I couldn't. I love the idea of the cafe, but now you've created, because of COVID and the challenges that brought with the cafe piece, you've brought your work to other organizations. And, that's where Janet found herself in a particular job and career track. Francois is starting out that sort of effort right now, or that I want to call it an adventure, but sort of this path, and discovering, I think, some opportunities for the future. And I'm curious about the changes maybe that Janet, that you and Francois, that you feel that maybe through your experiences that you've brought to these workplaces and organizations. Janet, can you talk a little bit about the impact that you think you've had working where you work?
Impact on myself or impact
Actually, impact on yourself. Yeah, that's very important. But I think that you also create an opportunity for the organization that you work with to learn from you because of your experiences and also your relationship with Breaktime.
I think overall, it's just everything has just been, everybody has been put an impact on each other. So when I worked through at Breaktime through when I worked at the warehouse and packaging with everybody and stuff like that, we worked as a team. I don't think nobody really ever was just like singly just like trying to do something by themselves or anything like that. We always worked as a team. We were always told like if somebody was behind or something like that, just a team. And then transferring to Catholic Charities in Somerville, and then working from there, and then leaving, and then somebody coming in. I stayed. I didn't stay 2 weeks. I was gonna stay extra 2 weeks, but I think I stayed like a week just to get helpful. Just to make sure like nobody was just like scared to ask for help or anything like that. Just to show the next people that this is what it is. What I'm saying, this is very easy. Come in, do your work. Just these are the people that you're gonna be with, and just everybody just showing love and just being very respectful and just keeping it 100. I think it just showed that if you show somebody the same love that somebody else showed you, it follows through like a domino effect. So it really and then also too just talking to Connor and Tony, getting help from them. And them seeing that like I remember there was one time I needed like slips to say that I was getting paid from them, and I didn't want to be too consistent on them, like I need this and this, but they understand, and they seen that like I'm not like that I needed it, and that like they were just gonna anything that I needed, they were there for it. So I think that everybody that comes into this program is an impact on everybody, because just the love and the support and the energy is positive vibes is all there around, and it really is giving that always 100% always that. So
I love that. I love that like sort of shared experience that
yes,
you're all learning from each other and giving to each other, and that's a really important dynamic to have, especially in the workplace and especially during challenging times.
Yes.
Francois, can you talk a little bit about the impact your experiences have maybe had on the workplace that you're in?
Yes, miss. The impact personally and through the community is crazy, miss. Personally, it impacted me a lot because I earlier said before, I learned a whole lot of skills with money management, and it's making me think I could do more than what I thought I could have did before I came to the program.
That's that empowerment and the equipment and being equipped.
Yeah, exactly, miss. And through the community, it's a lot because like my site is crazy. I work at the YMCA, and so the impact on the community is crazy because what we do is we bag up at least like about 800 to like 1,000 bags with groceries. It could be anything from milk, cereal to water to juice, and just foods, basic foods from the household. And we bag up all these bags and drop them off at schools, churches, and so the impact on the community is huge. It's awesome, and it's making me realize I like to help people. I like to work in this field, and being me, battling homelessness, and then being my last year, I'm like 24, so I'm towards like the end, and it's making me realize that like I could still do a lot. Like it's making me realize a path that I could go down.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see the path before I came to Breaktime, and I learned about Breaktime through Liberty Village because I was staying at the shelter. So like the impact is huge. It's changing my life right now, and it's like I would definitely like to see it like thrive and go up.
No, it's fantastic. How has, so we're in our last few minutes of our time together, but I think it's important for people either watching, but I'm sure it's been important for the people that you work with to understand your experience, and especially your experience with homelessness. Can you share what you think some of the public's misconceptions are about homelessness, especially for younger people? We'll start with Janet. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that they think that we're lazy. I honestly, this is what I honestly believe. They think that we're lazy, we're ungrateful, we really don't want to do anything in life. So and also too, like there's been moments too where I lived at Y for a little bit. So like I said, the first month I really didn't do anything. So like I said, I would either ride the train or I would sit in front of the church all day. Like that's what it was. And it also too, and like so they think that like, you know, we don't want to do anything. They see us as like bums, whatever, just hanging out, you know, smoking, drinking. But that's not all of us, you know. That's not what we do, you know. So it just to show them that like that we can get active, we can do things, you know. We're not just waiting around waiting for God to give us a sign. Like no, like there are things that we can do and stuff like that, but we can't always, not all of us have the can't do it, you know, from whatever stems to whatever people are going through and stuff like that. So I just want to say that I was bedridden for 2 years before I became displaced, and so being on bedridden, not really doing anything, not leaving the house, to active every weekend, meetings every weekend, working from a warehouse to Catholic charities to, you know, being a people person, just being active now. It goes to show that like, you know, we're not lazy. Like we can put whatever we want, we can put it to work and we can get it done. And we are like we was the kids of the future like 10 years ago, and you know now some of us, you know, we go through things, but like we can still get active, we can still do things, you know. 10 years from now, it's going to be looking a lot different, but the ones that choose to do things now and get out there, and the ones that choose to be like another handful, like I have, you know, depression, anxiety. I go through those things, but other people too. But I still lend my hand out, say, hey, man, you can still do it. You know, you're battling these, but I battle them too. But here I am, you know, doing this, doing that, getting out there, you know, still, you know what I'm saying, looking for ways to be creative and everything like that. Because, you know, we literally, we're not what they say they are. We are who we are, but like we are better than that. We are more, we are more than what they say we are. So yeah, that's.
And it sounds, I think we've extended this believe in you piece, because this is about believing in yourself, making sure that others believe in you. But it seems, Janet, you've made the transition to start believing in others as well. And so
Yes.
extending that circle and extending that, you know, compassion and just that belief in other people. Francois, do you have anything to share that just, you know, I think that the public and just people in general have lots of misconceptions about individuals who are experiencing homelessness, especially young people. I'm sure if you've got anything to add to what Janet just shared.
Yeah, I would say that what a lot of people misconcept about it is that they think like you don't have no goals or ambition. And and it takes a while, but eventually after going through like certain situations and you find out about opportunities like break time or so, you realize that you do have like more goals than you even thought you had. You have way more ambition, and then, you know, it's just like a kickstart. And people just don't got that. They don't got that vision sometimes because they're too down bad. So all they really needed was like, you know, a helping hand. So that's why I feel like the program it's like that helping hand to, you know, make you be your own person so you could set yourself up to never go back to the same position that you was just in.
Francois, thank you so much. Janet, Olivia, Connor, I appreciate your time with us this afternoon. And, you know, I'm a believer in the work of Breaktime. Janet and Francois, I believe in you and appreciate
Thank you.
the time that you've shared with all of us today. I hope everyone has a wonderful Friday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. We'll make sure to add the Breaktime details. So if any of our listeners or viewers want to check out Breaktime and perhaps support Breaktime in a financial way, I think that'd be good. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice afternoon.